Hey Jack.
How are you?
Well, doing pretty good, doing pretty good. I got a trade we can put on while we're on the show here today.
All right.
Something a little different.
Yeah, I just want to get a fill here. I'm selling, want to see what I did. I sold the 72 calls on IBIT for $1.04.
Uh,
All right, I got that out of the way. So what you got cooking?
yeah, so I don't know if you've noticed. I mean, you may not keep up with it. China been running pretty hot here.
Very. Hello,
We're
Will.
seeing, it was beat down, not just I mean, this started back in 2020 and for AliExpress here for Alibaba, and it's been unable to recover for a long time and kind of run the high to low on my signature pattern. We're coming up into resistance, but if we break through that, in fact, if you do it on log mode, we're actually breaking through and could see a healthy upside here. And it's not just that one though, like Baidu showing a big, strong, healthy move up. We're seeing a lot of their internet companies kind of recover, and they're actually pumping money into this stuff through their government. A lot of these companies, government controlled or government, whatever. PDD, which is Timu, which is all over the place. They don't, they were phased by the tariffs, but seem to be coming back strong. Might be breaking out here. They were kind of chopping for the last year or so. And even JD, which, not a lot of people here buy from JD, but that's another internet company, a lot of internet sales and packages coming to the US. This one's not quite catching up here. But if you just combine all this stuff together, there's an ETF KWeb here. And it's China Internet Company ETF. We can come down here and look at the kind of more about the fund, what's in it, like I said, we've got Alibaba, we've got Tencent Holdings, we've got PDD, we've got JD, we've got Baidu, and some other stuff I'm not sure I know how to say down through here. Lots of exposure to different stuff in China. In their country playing hardball with US and trying to get back on the recovery path here. So my kind of, I played this last month with a 41-47 debit call spread. And right now I'm sitting at 43. I just actually was able to close the 47 for profit, even though it was sold against the position. And so I'm leaving all the upside with nothing capped at this point. But it's starting to run low on time. I've only got 2 weeks left. So right now I'm looking at something out to November, and I thought I could put it on here live during the show. Maybe an opportunity, especially as we pull back just a hair off the highs of the day. So, Jack, what do you think? Should we talk about it?
We should.
So right now I'm sitting in these October 17th calls, the monthly calls. And I'm thinking about going out to November on the monthly calls. Now you look at the calls and they're kind of pricey in here, especially for uncertainty. I don't want to buy an at the money call and risk $2. I don't really want to buy. I mean, the 44 looks pretty good, but that's still $1.66. And I'm thinking about going with the 45 here. It's a little bit out of the money. It's going to take a heck of a move up, but we got time. This is out to November, like right around Thanksgiving. So I'm thinking about going with a 45 right here, buying that one. It's going to cost me like around $1.36. But I want to offset that cost. So I'm thinking about coming in here with a 50 strike and selling that one and get a credit of about 44 cents, which is going to take my cost down below $1. That's pretty good. I mean, that's roughly a 96-cent cost right there with a potential $5 spread. So it's basically a risk one to potentially make four, four profit, 4 to 1 risk reward. And that's if China keeps ripping. Now, I'd probably be happy with a 2x return, just doubling my money here. But the one I've got for October is already up more than, more than double. So this has some juice left in it. The time frame's getting a little long in the tooth. Now, back to our conversation yesterday, the longer you kind of go out in time, the more this trade costs. So I'm only looking to be out about a month, because 2 months out, it costs more. So I'm going to spend more money for that opportunity to make more money. So that's why not give it more time than just an extra month. What do you think so far, Jack?
I like it. No, why would you do the 45 and not something lower?
Well, right now, I'm looking at the costs here, and there's a big jump down on those strikes. But then once we get up to this 45, it's not nearly as big a jump coming on up through here on the pricing.
Yeah.
So the IV kind of stabilizes right in here, is what the opportunity cost is what I call it, of getting into this position kind of stabilizes from 45 up. Plus, look at where a lot of people are playing right now.
Yeah. Now, for the good people tuning in, this is a debit spread. And
Yeah,
let's
this is a debit spread.
we're
So I'm
gonna
going to pull this over and actually, I'm going to get into the trade here.
I'm gonna get into it too. You're
Let
gonna
me,
buy you buying
I'm
the
going to make sure. Hold on one second. I'm going to make sure I'm in the right account before I do this. There we go. All right. So K-Web, I've got, all sorts of positions, all sorts of accounts. We're going to pop this up. You can see the trade I'm in right here, October. I only have the 41 strike left. It is in the money. I sold out the 40. I had the 47 against it, and I closed it out because it was in profit. The trade's profitable, and the upside was profitable, so I closed the upside. Don't cap it. If this thing pops on off this in the next 2 weeks, score. But that one's running low on time. So look at it flying out here to just to rehash. I'm going to buy a 45 and then probably sell a 50. Even lower cost right there, 92 cents. I'm not going to go big on this. This is it's kind of a lottery type thing. Triple my money. Put a few $100 on it, maybe make, make a few hundred. So
what's the expiration gonna be?
November 21st. We're out there 50 days.
I'm gonna put that on. I don't want to take up the good people's time with me putting it on, but I'm gonna put that on when we're done here.
Yeah, 45 right there, short 50. So I'm going to buy the 45 strike call out of the money. Going to sell the 50 strike call out of the money. What does out of the money mean? It means that all of its value is extrinsic. There's no in the money value to it, no intrinsic value. These are all above current price. Price has to go higher for this trade to work out. I'm going to risk, looks like now I'm going to risk 94. I'm going to do 3 of them in this account. See my cost sitting here estimated with commissions, $288.73. And the button to actually fire this off is missing right there. There it goes. Instantly filled. So
Now, the way we do it with the Tesla payout program is we would take that order once you got filled on your buy side and you'd set up your sell side as a good till cancel with a limit on the net credit of 1.5 times your debit.
but this one's a lot wider than just a normal.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
looking
Review.
at that 4x. So I actually want to double or higher my money. And I'm actually going to put an order on. I do this too. I immediately turn around. I'm going to put the order on. I got
Okay.
filled at 94. I want to get, $2 would double my money, $3 would triple my money. So I'm going to go $3 for now. GTC. That turn my money into $900.
I love it.
I'm going to let it cook. There you go.
Let it cook, baby. I'm gonna do the same thing when we're done here. I got a little TSLL a little more yesterday. I'm going to sell a naked put on that today.
Yeah, Tesla was
Good friend
was
Pete DeBrock got filled for 94. Way to go, Pete. Put your good till cancel in there, everybody. If you're getting filled, do that, turn around, put it in. That way you can go fishing, ride your motorcycle, play with your grandkids, do whatever you want without staring at the screen. Yeah,
so Jack,
Jack got
just
94.
just just about 15 minutes ago, I saw a post from Cheddar Flow, which watches big option flow. $19 million more of calls were bought this morning
Ham.
at 500 strike.
Sam, that's a lot of ham.
19 million more for November and January.
On the
November this year, January, they were split between them. 500 strike.
that before this 19, I lost count of how many.
Yeah, that's a
We
lot of premium. That's a lot of juice right there.
yeah, yeah, wow.
So that's
That is,
people buying the dip for something coming. I mean, I don't know what's coming, but something's coming. Something's got to be coming.
or else you're going to see a massive wipeout on the options go to zero. Where's TSLL right now?
Yeah, let's take a look.
And I want to sell a naked put on this here today when we get done.
Yeah, I've actually got 2150 sold for this. I'm slightly in the money here, but I'm playing on that bigger upside potential, whatever's happening. We might see some more downside here. You could possibly get in at 1950, maybe even down to 19.
The 20 looks pretty good.
What,
I
20
want
does?
to get it. I want to get a little more, maybe the 1950. I want to sell this put, folks, but I also want to have a pretty good chance of getting the stock gifted to me or signed to me.
Yeah, so we can take a look in here. If you're playing out this Friday, still juicy stuff. I mean,
No, I
you
want to go a little longer.
yeah. I mean that would get you potentially by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Here I am with a 20. I got 3 20s sold right there. I rolled that forward yesterday from this Friday tomorrow
Earnings on
to
Tesla, I want to buy some time that's after earnings.
earnings is the 22nd. They officially announced that this morning with the delivery numbers. So you're gonna have to go out to
Well,
the 24th or the 31st.
I'll take the 24th.
And the 24th at 20 right now, $1.84.
It's pretty hefty.
Yeah, even at 19, $1.40, or even at 18, $1.
Yeah, that 20 looks good for me.
So right there, that's a pretty high chance of getting put. The expected move right now, this platform draws it on here down to 15 and up to 28 on TSLL.
Now, folks, just so you know, if I do get the stock assigned to me at 20, I'm gonna have a cost basis of 20, and I'm gonna subtract $1.84 or whatever I get premium for selling that put. So if I get it assigned to me at 20, I could turn around and sell it at 20 and still keep the $1.84. But what I'm gonna do is, if I get it gifted to me, I'm gonna take it and sell calls against it that are just a little bit higher, like a 23.
And that's been a very lucrative trade for me the last
Yeah,
few weeks.
I like it. I like it a lot.
There is a lot of premium baked into this right here. And we can look at it right here. The beta running about 3.7, one of the richest ones I know of right here. We've got an IV, implied volatility out there, 120, 1 month out.
Yeah,
So
We have a lot of people doing this. Um, to sell a naked put right here that cost you, $2,000 or $400 if you did it on margin. So, Kevin, we got a lot of people doing this. You don't need a large account.
I do these weekly and I'm very aggressive on it because, I'm just looking at it right here. Um, I've got some book trades that we can look at right here. TSLL. I only held these open for a couple days. September 26th, October 1st. Look at that juice right there. Two of them was 142 bucks profit. Then I did two more at a different strike right here, 20 strike. sold on the 29th. So I held the 30th and then closed it on the 1st. It made 84 bucks on two.
There you go.
So I mean, pounding it in the dirt. Yeah, I'm going after it pretty hot and heavy here. You know, and this one down here was the 1950 strike.
So when you sell that 1950 strike on a cash secured basis, just so Kevin and everybody knows, that's $1,950 cash secured, right?
Yeah,
So depends if
that's
you
right.
that's a lot or a little on a trade. But we
And
got hundreds of people doing this weekly.
I was committing to paying $19.50 for 200 shares when I sold that, which basically was roughly 3,900 bucks that I was going to have to spend, but I got paid 90 cents per contract, almost, 87 cents a contract. So really the cost was much lower. Done it 18 like 1870 roughly. Would have been 1870 a share times
Yeah.
200.
So on margin, that would be 20% of 3,900, which would make the yield skyrocket.
Yeah. And Robinhood recently, I guess I built enough trust with them. They recently let me start doing the 20% margin. And so I'm now I've got a little leverage I'm amping up in here a little bit. I'm very carefully doing that. But
Yeah, that takes the yield from, yeah, I mean, we could do it in a calculator.
that starts skyrocketing the potential earnings here. But people that say you can't make any money trading shares, I just want to demonstrate that this right here was all option premium selling. This right here was shares. That was share appreciation right there. And this grind higher, option selling. So options, shares, and options. Options give me the consistent wins, the cash flow, as Jack calls it. That's the income over and over and over. The big pops come from shares, and then constant upward momentum
Now,
on those
my
options.
my graph would look similar to that, but that straight up line on the price appreciation would be higher.
And this is actually just booked profit. Like this is only profit that I've booked out.
Okay. Yeah,
The account itself is a little different.
I have unrealized gains. I haven't taken any profit.
And we can jump in here and look at the performance year to date, the last, which is, I've only been trading this account since April, almost $27,000 in book profit right there this year, doing this right here that we're talking about on TSLL and Docu and IBIT and DLTR and CMG and Chewy. And, I've got others that I keep cycling through them. So
Nice. And
there
your
you go.
keep track of your year-to-date percentage increase.
Yeah, I've got that in the actual trading account. This one tracks my booked closed trades and shows it out to the public with the trades and the details right here. And it's all available. You can go there and check it out if you want to. I'll throw the link in. Yeah, the link's right here. I'll throw that link in the chat if you want to go see it yourself. It's publicly. It syncs the closed trades every night. It doesn't show you the open trades because it doesn't want this platform and highly discourages shadow trading, copying people that you don't know what they're doing. So it only shows you the closed trades and all the details.
Yeah.
They're 90% win rates, average gain about 220 bucks per trade. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
All right.
This
What's
is
next?
turning into a pretty good year for me too. I got like
I'm doing pretty all right. That's be what I say. Crypto coming back up. That's everything's getting nice and frothy in all my accounts.
Not where I was last year, but I'll give you a quick peek if you want to see where I'm at. You want to see where
So
I'm at?
Dennis, I have lots of different stuff going on. I have, that there was a 20 and there was a 19 right there. And those trades are closed. So that was a 20 and this one right here was a 1950. And then the other account, this is not the account I was showing on the other platform. So that's a different account, different.
Let me show
I have
you.
like 20 different accounts. So
Let me show you a little something if you want to see.
hey, you need to share your screen?
Yeah, I hate showing this off, but for some people they want to know.
Yeah. I mean, nice numbers, Jack. I like it. Congratulations.
Yeah, I can't complain, but I'm just shocked that my 2025 number is lower than my 2024. And this does not include any premium income. This is all just price appreciation. Uh, so that's that.
That's good. That's really good. And it's just slow and steady. Like you're not trying to hit home runs every day.
I
Eh,
don't at all. I don't try to. I mean, a home run for me is, a 50% gain. I don't shoot for big stuff like that. I mean, I get a couple other big ones, but I also get a couple little losers in there too. So
Now, for everybody that's maybe not in TSLL, doesn't have a bunch of premium, Jack, by going at 20, he was aggressively trying to get them to gift him the stock right there. And if you go out there to the 24th and you collect $1.84, or let's just say $1.80 on the premium, your cost is going to be down at 18.20 per share. Well, that's
yeah.
not bad.
Wow, David A is up 144% in 1 year. Way to go, man. That's strong. And I love it. People say we can't do it. We as outsiders, we're not on Wall Street. We're, People are doing it. Everybody here has all the talent and ability they need. You have it, and that's why you're here. And I love seeing David A post in. He's up 144%. Yeah, if you're doing great, share it with us. Tell us where you're at. And if you're not, where do you need the most help? Because I just got to tell you, we're into the fourth quarter of the year, and this is probably the best time of the year to trade, probably the best quarter. And we might see a really harsh pullback in November, but just overall, this is going to be a great 3 months to trade. And I really encourage everybody to get whatever options approval you need to be able to sell naked puts, cash secured or on margin, to be able to do credit spreads and to be able to do covered calls, which is like level zero. But that's where the money resides in that premium selling. Um, for cash flow, that's where it's at.
Yeah. And yeah, we did have a rare good September. And Jack was the one, Jack beating the drum that we were probably going to have a great September.
They
And
made me predict, and I hate to predict market because predictions are for people that do fundamental analysis. They read all that stuff from everything they read. They try to predict the future price. Technical analysis is reactive, and that's what I love about it. It's not predictive. I react by seeing a stock doing what I want it to do. I react by buying it, real simple, or creating a premium income trade. But they made me predict when we had that last roundtable at the end of August how September was going to be, and made a big deal out of the seasonality, 20 some years of September being bad. And I said that it's not going to do that this time. There's just too much strength, no reason.
well,
And
look at
so
the last 75 years in the S&P right here.
I went
September
against,
down.
I went against, I went against the stats, folks, because just using my eyes and not looking at what happened in the past, things looked really strong. But you're right, David A. Everybody had a great September, and that does seem rare. But we might even have a better next 3 months, really. I mean, hot as far as you know we talked about that volatility bet on the VIX. We see any kind of increase in volatility, we'll see the highest prices we're ever going to get for selling options.
Yep, definitely. And I mean, you look back here, this has been a pretty, we ran pretty hot in May, ran pretty hot in June, and those aren't usually big months either for the market. Coming up here, November and December, those are, even October is usually better than May and June.
Yeah,
So
be
if
good.
this year continues on, we could have a pretty good wrap to the end of the year
Hey,
here.
well, Errol did $72,000 in profit in September. Dude, that's amazing. You're getting really, really good at this, and I'm super proud of you and how you get after it. That's great. $72,000 profit. You figure, Earl, you made more money in 1 month than most people make all year. I think what is it, $64,240 or something like that, average annual income. Look at that. You made more money in 1 month than people make all year, and you did it in the stock market, hopefully without killing yourself. I think that's the American dream right there.
Jack, hold on one second. I'll be right
Woo!
back.
David A., $100,000 in September. Dang. Look at this, man. I'm loving this. You guys are great, and you're showing up here trying to learn more. And you guys are the kind of guys and gals that are going to make it in this next 3 months and all of 2025 because the days of, oh, I don't want to learn, just tell me what to buy and sell, those days are over. You gotta you gotta you gotta do what you're doing right here and educate yourself and invest in yourself. uh Earl says, I do get after it. It is the American dream. Yeah, it is, man. And you're doing great after it. I'd love to have an interview with you sometime for our other insiders.
All
David,
right. Sorry about that.
4 grand in taxes. Fidelity keeps me honest. Hey, but that's good to pay taxes. I'll tell you, I believe everybody should always pay their taxes all the time. Not, you want to get a good CPA. My guy costs about 4,000 a year, but if he's going to save me 50, he's worth it. But I'll tell you why you say Fidelity keeps me honest, had to pay the taxes. The last thing in the world you want to do is have a tax problem with the government because they're the worst creditor, right? They can do whatever they want to do. And yeah, I encourage you, don't get into a situation. Unfortunately, I had a situation. There's almost 400 grand they said I owed that I didn't think I owed. And while that was all going on, that was some of the worst time of my life. Yeah, you don't want to not pay taxes. Matt says he'd be happy to have my first year at $20,000 a year. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's not easy. Like I've been doing this a long time to be able to get to the point where I can consistently make that money.
It's not easy at all. I mean, just what I showed you from 24 and 25, yeah, it's a lot. And that does not include the premium income from selling options. I'll have to find that out. Yeah, Earl, I look forward to seeing you face to face as well in Jacksonville. And Earl, you'll get to meet Jeffrey. This is going to be awesome. So, Dakota, I don't know if you're listening, but maybe put a link in the chat so everybody could find out about Jeffrey's Diamond Club or Turnmire Trading Labs and
Yeah, let me see if I can find a link for that. Give me a second. Let me pull one
the
up.
Diamond Club.
I've got the link to talk to somebody. I don't have the replay of any video, but
This isn't a pitch to join our insider circle. This is just to let you know if you want to join and why you should join and what you get.
right there you can fill out that form, and one of my team members will call you
Yeah, they
and
got to
talk to you
call
about
you.
more information.
They got to call you to make sure it's a good fit. But yeah, we're going to have one of the best times ever in January. Again, we're going to do education and we're going to do live trading in our own accounts with real money. And you can copy and paste what we do and learn more. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, January in Jacksonville. Mark it on your calendar. You don't want to miss this. This is going to be great. A date, we don't have the date, Dennis. I think last year mine was on the 23rd and 24th. We did all kind of live trades, married puts, covered calls, credit spreads, right there live, and the market's open. And got everybody up to speed, got everybody on the same page, and everybody had cash flow coming in. It was a great, great, great time. And I hadn't done a live trading, a live session, man, maybe 20 years, uh, more, you know. Yeah, that was just awesome. Sergio says, best investment I ever made. Turnmire Trading Lab Group, highly recommended. Yeah, I do too. Nobody cares more about their customers than Jeffrey. Sergio, you're right about
Hey, I didn't want to provide this. I bought stuff from gurus for a long time, trying to learn this stuff, and got the raw end of the stick so many times that I just wanted to try to provide people what I always wanted to find. And community, a great group of people that'll always help you. Yeah, I'm Scout's Honor. I'm here to help people make money in the market. And quite honestly, I love it when I watch other people make money. And so
the biggest kicks I get. Yeah, and you're great at doing it. And you know, I'll tell you, everybody needs a mentor. This business is just not really something, it's really hard without a mentor. And if you get a mentor and he's the real deal, like Jeffrey is, you're going to cut your learning curve 100,000%, and you'll be in the green quicker than you ever would have been on your own.
well, I surround myself with awesome traders like you, Jack, that know way more than me.
I think as a professor, you passed me up.
Look at this trade though, Jack. Look at this right here. We talk about big trades. Look at this big trade.
You got some big dogs there too. You
That's
got
$37 million right here.
mm, mm, mm.
In the money on GLD. 350 strike. $37 million. Look
Wow.
at that. Here it is right here.
There's so much exciting stuff going on that I haven't seen in the market before. See this, these are some of the most aggressive moves I have ever seen, starting with that VIX trade you told me about, and then
Yeah.
seeing Tesla's. I mean, they're buying 1,000 strike on Tesla, 550, 800. These some of the most aggressive moves I've ever seen.
Yeah, that 350 now, it's coming back. We're coming back at the money here. It's only out till next Friday. Somebody spent $37 million.
See, this thing just looks like it's on fumes to me.
It does to me too. I would be scared to death if I spent $37 million at
You know,
350.
and this is the thing where this is kind of really speculation because unlike a company, there's no event with gold. There's no board of directors. There's no earnings report, right? There's really no surprise announcement gold can make because there's nobody running gold. It's just a commodity. So it's not like somebody knows something here, or maybe they do, but I don't couldn't imagine what they would know. I can't imagine gold making a rip.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's just a wild. I mean, look at that. Like that's just wild to me right there. And maybe, is it possible that was a buy order and that was a sell order? But I don't know. It's
What was the strike again?
350. Like it was in the money.
Dang.
350. They spent $37 million. I don't think it was a closing order because it was above the ask.
Wow. And see, that's crazy when someone is willing to pay above the ask, and you'll see that on an options order flow. That means they absolutely positively have to have it, and they don't care what they pay. They only care that they get in. They don't care what the price was. They care that they get that strike at any price, which is kind of easy because you don't have to be that aggressive when you're buying it. You could just sit on the bid. You could be the bid, whatever comes in, comes in. You don't have to keep buying it up, right? But maybe gold wasn't liquid enough at any particularly one price, and so they pushed it up. But this could be a situation where the tail wags the dog, in the sense that whoever sold these is going to have to possibly go in and buy actual GLD rather than cover that option at that strike for that expiration. They'd have to go buy the stock, and that'll push it higher. That's a case of the tail wagging the dog.
And somebody maybe, going in the money like that, somebody maybe trying to acquire the shares. I don't know. For some reason, that's just wild though. 47,000 in one block, one transaction, $37 million. Wild, wild stuff. That was yesterday. Trade right there was the second. It shows up on the options chain. Let me find it. Pull that back up again. Yeah, that was in that.
I probably haven't
It,
traded GLD in 15 years.
yeah, it was right there at 2:40 p.m. yesterday afternoon.
Very
So
crazy time of the day too. 2:40, huh? About an hour.
I see this one took place 3:50. A couple
Yeah,
days back.
that's a pro right there. We talked about pros getting in the last 10 minutes.
So that's 350 right there. They're still sitting on those because this wasn't the closing order. This was another buy order.
And I'd hate to be the market maker on the options. It's just,
Uh,
I don't know however many contracts he filled at whatever price, he's not going to be able to buy those all back at a lower price, right? It's going to take a
yeah.
little
Well, the
haircut.
block order was 47,500 contracts.
Dang.
So
And that is so much risk. That is so much risk for the options market maker. It's unbelievable because, he's not going to get, like I say, the ideal thing for a market maker is to have equal buying and selling at one price that yields the most volume. That way he has the least amount of risk, the most volume. He's selling on the ask, buying on the bid, but he ain't going to get 47,000 on the bid. He's going to have to short some of that to that guy and then figure out a way to cover it in the next couple of weeks.
yeah, that's it. I mean, it's just wild. And even with the drop in the price today, they're not unloading 47,000 contracts. So
That's the other thing. It's going to be hard to sell those without moving the market down, right? That's an overwhelming order for anybody to have to swallow.
what does it mean, Jack, that somebody's buying that big,
Yeah,
and
yeah. It means everybody's at risk up there, is what that means. Open interest
so
is the amount that's open, the amount of open contracts that have been bought, and volume is what happened today.
yeah, so when we come back and look at it, that 350 strike, October 10th, we're only out 8 days. It was 9 days yesterday. 87,000 contracts are open at that price. So that, yesterday that person was adding to the other because those contracts are all still open.
Yeah. Open interest.
And 1,200 contracts have transacted today, probably trying to follow along with that big trader. You never know what they're going to do. Like, that's the things. You never know if they're going to take the shares or if they've got something else going on or what.
You don't have any idea. Yeah, you don't have any. They'd probably call him at some point. A trade like that would be easier for him to take assignment and sell that option. Open interest is important, Dennis, in the sense that you probably don't want to get involved in an option that doesn't have any open interest. It means it has no action. I like to see, it doesn't have to be huge, but I like to see there's some action in the option, and that's what open interest will tell you. If you see huge open interest, that's kind of a tell that something's cooking.
And that's
What-
unusual on GLD. I mean, you've got another big chunk right up here at, 50, 54, almost 55,000, but those are out of the money right
What's
now.
what's crazy is you get to see this, all this data and all this info, right? And then you're starting to think the strategy through it. But a lot of people look at this, they have no idea what they're looking at. And there's some good tips in here when you're looking at this option chain in terms of pricing, uh, open interest, volume, the difference between the bid and the ask, the spread there.
And
Now,
this thing, once you start learning how to read what they're telling you, every option chain tells you a story about what people are expecting to happen here. And
now,
the market maker tells you a little bit about, with the pricing of the at the monies, people tell you a little story about, what they're thinking is going to happen, but you never know if like these were short and then these were the longs to cover that, or if these are longs and these are the shorts to cover it. You've got to look even deeper. You got to know where they transaction. Was it one big block? Is that, 20,000 people buying a couple contracts each? You never know exactly what's happening unless you watch. You got to watch for these big blocks, and you got to watch for, what's going on and the pricing changes. Sometimes you can find anomalies in the price. Usually the price drops all nice and even going up through here, but occasionally you'll see one that's priced higher than the one above or below it. So there's all sorts of things that the option chain can tell you. And Jack, as a market maker, you know there's a lot of shenanigans that go on.
A lot of them. Let's go through and teach the good people how to look at the expected move in gold. How do we
Yeah.
count?
So
This-
right here, this is fairly easy. We're looking at an option chain. I'm just going to keep up November since I've got November up. This is GLD gold. We're at the money with the orange line right here. That's sitting right at 353. So you take the at the money option on both sides, which bid is the sell side. It, labels it on here on this platform. Bid is the sell side. And we're going to take that at the money at 353, and we're just going to sell both sides. And the expected move right now that option maker, market makers for the options are pricing into these options, $17 and roughly 60-cent move up or down by third week of November.
That would be crazy. Probably going to
So
be
it's
up, but
yeah, it might be up. Like the way it's been going, it'll be up, but it could go up here. And this platform does draw the expected move, and there's a little more to it with the expected move it draws because it uses implied volatility and the skew and all that stuff. But it actually draws some lines right on the chart here where
nice.
the market makers are pricing those moves to go.
That's nice. What's the commission per options contract at Tasty?
Oh, we can look it up. I don't have any special deal or anything, so it's just whatever the standard is. Let me.
You know what?
Probable.
Let's take what's the all-time high in GLD?
Whatever it was this morning, right there, 356, 358.
All-time high. That's a real tell right there too.
358, yeah,
Nobody
358.
sell it at higher prices. Nobody owns it higher. Lack of overhead supply. I would not want to be trying. See, this is why if you were an options market maker and you're making sales at an all-time high, there's a lack of overhead supply. It's going to be impossible for him to buy this back.
So I got zero stock commissions, zero crypto commissions, $1 per contract for options. For opening, no contract closing. $1 for, basically 50 cents in and out. Micro futures, 75 cents, $1.25 on future options. Micro futures, 75. Crypto, nothing. So pretty good place to trade crypto.
Yeah. If you like that.
So there you go. That's does have $1 per contract, which you might be able to negotiate lower, but you'd have to bring a big account, I'm sure, and push a lot of volume. So that's Tasty Trade. I've not found $1 per contract to be a very limiting for me. And I play it, this account that I keep showing off over here is at Robinhood. I don't have an easy way to pull that up and show it to you. I've tried the other day and it wouldn't authorize on this computer. I have it on my phone. But this is my Robinhood account tied right here. That account's sitting roughly $115,000 roughly is the account balance with this much, and 26,000 of its profit. So there you go.
Very nice.
All right.
Robinhood's talking about tokenization. Well, you'd be able to buy a token that represents a stock and would move tick for tick with that stock, but it'd be a proxy for the shares. They think that's going to be a huge thing. They're going to tokenize all kind of assets, real estate, stocks. Remember those things? What were those non-fungible?
NFTs, yeah. Non-fungible tokens.
I don't even know what fungible means. These guys non-fungible. anyway, they're going to be able to tokenize all that stuff. That's going to open up an entirely new market for Hood. Yeah, great fees they're going to have collecting tons. And NVIDIA's trying to break out. Hit 191 this morning. That's a new high.
And my platform's gonna be slow all of a sudden. There we go. Yep, all-time high right there. But like Tesla pulling back just a little bit.
Tesla down 11. Pfizer cooled off a little bit.
Man, did you see Lilly yesterday? Holy moly.
I didn't
What a
see it.
move. Let me pull this one back up. I'm gonna have to refresh this. It's being super slow.
Lilly, I've just had a hard time trading Lilly every time.
I'm not saying it's, but look at that candle yesterday. Let me refresh this, see if I can speed it up a little bit. It won't crash out on me.
Yeah, Hood, David A says Hood wants to get into the private market platform, selling companies access to companies before they go public. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge business, but at the same time, I'm not sure that the underwriters and everybody wants to give up any of that juice that they're already collecting.
No, they
So
don't. It'd be interesting to give people access to private equity, really is what that is, to non-public companies that are trying to go public in the future. Are you
yeah,
flying?
and yeah, I'm gonna have to. That was my desktop. I'm having to restore this thing real quick. I had
You
to
got your
kill the.
pilot license, though, right?
Yeah, I do have a pilot's license. I have a small plane. I keep at
Oh,
one of the airports here in town.
nice.
Now let's see if this thing will pull it up. There we go. Lily, look at that move the last couple days.
That's crazy. There's the gaps filling in, though, folks. When you look at a gap in this thing back, however you want to go, any gap is going to have to get filled in.
Yeah, and the gaps. It's filling in these gaps basically. We had this gap. It got filled in, and then this gap right here. They rejected it off right here. The gap downs. You can correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, but I have a theory that gap ups and gap downs are completely different because when you've got a stock running like this right here in the middle, you had people buying with enthusiasm right into that top right there. And then they come in tomorrow and it gaps down and then it continues down. And it's like psychology in a lot of people is, well, I need a dollar cost average. So I got to double down or triple down here on the pullback. And then we start rallying and we rally back up and they get to a point where they're like, all right, I'm back to even. I just want to get the beep back out of this thing. And then it causes more softness. And then people are buying right here because for every buyer, there's a seller. For every seller, there's a buyer. Sometimes there's an imbalance on that stuff and it causes price to go down. Then we get a gap down and another gap down. So people are really stuck now that bought here and bought here. And it just creates this resistance when we're going back up, when we get these gap fills. And a lot of times people will sell and it creates that selling pressure. Now, you think about it opposite, I know most gaps are going to fill, but on the other swing of this, there's not people that saw this, there's not people selling out like crazy. And then when we spike up, they're like, oh man, I'm going to sell out, double down. I mean, unless you're a shorter. And then when we gap fill there, they're not buying back in and creating this bounce. So it's just different psychology. Like there's not a FOMO that kicks in down here. FOMO kicks in when prices are going higher.
And
So,
both sides are overreactions. When you have a gap like that, a lot of times the market makers will just continually lower their price. When you look at that big gap down on the right side there, they'll just it's a race to lower your price before anybody can hit your bid. And that's why you get that gap in price. But that's almost always an overreaction, whether it's a gap up or a gap down. And it's mostly on news, and news can make a stock go up, but it can't make it stay up. And so market makers are really smart about, if you're coming in with a market order to buy or sell, you're going to get screwed on a gap, especially. They're going to see who can pay the least for it. And then when everybody wants back in, they don't care what price they pay. Again, they just want to get in. So that's, and it's something about drug stocks that just, they go nutty like that, you know?
I typically don't play biotech pharma
So
or med tech or any of the medical stuff just because I don't like the Food and Drug Administration deciding out of the blue that
yeah,
this company's products aren't going to be allowed to be sold anymore.
yeah. It's
Or, or all of a sudden, hey, we had just approved the drug they've been working on for 20 years and, out of the blue, it skyrockets.
that's it. It's everything out of the blue. And Lilly is not in this position, but the biggest failures in any one industry is biotech. All these little biotechs that come out, they got a very terrible shot of being a success. But once they are a success, uh, they can have a lot more stability and better investment. But this thing, I just haven't been able to get a hold on it.
Now, on the big time frame, if we go up to a weekly chart, this thing came down, found support right at my technical analysis roadmap line favorite spot to find support. We're turning back higher. We're getting a close above the 618 this week. If we close up here on Friday, this sets up the potential for this to go higher. The target, 75% likely to hit this level right here. 70% likely to hit this level right up here. So that's this purple line and this green line right there. I want to show another trade-off, Jack. I'm not taking this yet because we're not closed for the week. But that right there, that upside potential, 25% right there. Pop over to LLYX right here. This is a 2x leverage on Lilly. That would mean a 50% upside, roughly, if you round down just a little bit. So you could target, you could come in here. If we close the week above that 618 level on Lilly, come in here, buy this, potentially target a 50% upside. $16 in, $23 out. You could sell puts in here, potentially, because we are 75% likely to do that move right there. So there's another trade idea right there that's in the process of setting up.
Process of setting up. That's right.
I've got another one like this too, in a related industry right here. This one bounced on the daily charts, a little bit faster, a little bit, lower time frame than the weekly chart. Bounced, came up, got the close above the 618. This makes it 70. This one's actually active right now. 75% likely to get continuation right up here. 76. Now this one's got some bigger numbers to it. So check this out. Turn off my drawing tool. We grab this baby right here, come up here. That's a 32% upside to get to that 75% likely target. This one has another leverage ticker associated with it. Double 32% upside, that's 64% upside. Doesn't look like a huge move on this chart, but that's what you get with the leverage charts. So possible 24 to 38 right there. Sell some puts in here, get some shares, ride that shares up. Potentially that vicinity, 75% likely right there.
What's the beta here?
The beta on this one, let's take a look.
I like to look at the beta too, folks, because if I'm going to take assignment, I want to know that I could sell calls and make a good bit of cheese. So when you have
2.74.
yeah, that's two and twice almost 3 times as volatile as the SPY. Therefore, that volatility is going to make the options pricey. So when you're an option seller, whether you're selling a naked put, you're going to get paid big. And if you get the stock, you turn around, sell covered calls, you're going to get paid big as well.
And this was a little lighter at 1.24. Still nice, but a little lighter. So there's 2 more plays that you could potentially play in the coming weeks ahead, right there, using some leverage tickers.
You could still do the TSLL.
Yeah, TSLL is still ripping hot, and whatever's going on, like this is coming down for maybe a steal of a deal here.
Yeah, it is. So I'm going to do that one. I'm going to do the K-Web trade we talked about. And what else am I going to do? Probably sell another naked put on IBIT here before the day's over.
Yeah, IBIT ripping higher. I'm probably going to get called out on my 66.
Yeah, I just sold the 72s yesterday, so I'm going to let those ride. But I'd love to, when its stock is up like this, I like to sell covered calls. But if we start to see the littlest softness, I'll sell a naked put.
So we didn't get this continuation down. We actually reversed here. Let's look at where the upside potential is really quickly before we wrap this baby up for today. And so we've got this low right here was the lowest low. This move up was the first move up. This retrace. This projects us up to a potential resistance around 71. But it doesn't have to stop there. That's just an ideal spot. Could go on up to 75 or even 77 without really slowing down. One of these, though, it's likely to take a little breather and retrace a little bit before we continue on to the final move, because this is going to be a trending move when we break out higher than this right back here. And trending moves typically happen in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the highest high. That's a Elliott wave right there. This is a real simple Elliott wave. There's a lot of rules to it. I spent several years learning how to do it before I started getting it right. But this is kind of how I form my roadmap on getting the move higher. I make the most money on these wave 3s.
Sorry, hang on.
Yeah, no problem. I make the most money in the market on these wave 3s. Right there. I did that on COVID on the way down. Caught the wave 3. Made the big money. And a lot of the stuff I traded, I was, going higher on VIX and UVXY. That was the wave 3 I was catching. I make the most money, even that big candle or even the big pop in this chart right here, my profit chart, that big jump right there was a wave 3 on Rocket Lab. Right back here, this move right in the middle. It was the wave 1, 2, there's the 3 right there. This was the 4. Now we're working on the 5.
That'd be a new high.
And then it'll probably do some sort of retrace after that.
We had a question about the HIMS setup.
Yeah, go back to that.
The question is, are you saying the setup is to sell puts and buy shares on HIMS?
That's a way to play. A way to play.
What is your setup here?
I haven't taken any trade yet. I was just throwing it out there as a potential that I saw that's set up. I got this confirmation yesterday or 2 days back. 2 days back, we got this confirmation that this was a trade, 75% likely. The time frame on this, just full disclosure, everybody should know the time frame historically, 45 days on average. Standard deviation on that is 35 days. I'm going to get nerdy here on you for a second, Jack. 3 standard deviations. 3 standard deviations get you to the 99 percentile of time. So 99% of these trades should wrap up in with 3 standard deviations added to it. That makes it 150 candles. And I don't know about you, but my chart doesn't make candles on the weekend. Well, that's 210 calendar days. So 99% of these trades should wrap up by 210 days, calendar days. That's 6 months, 7 months. So this could prolong So if you're trying to buy calls out in October or November, this thing could take 6 months, 7 months to play out to the 75% likely target up here. This is something to keep in mind with my price pattern. It does take 45 candles on average. That means, you know, I don't know what the median is on that, but, you know, generally 50% of the stuff takes less than 45, 50% takes more than 45. But when you do the standard deviation on this, the 99th percentile takes you all the way out to 7 months. So if you're trying to play options, you know, be careful. That's why I was looking at HIMZ. This is something I can hold that doesn't have time decay, that's still likely to get that upside move right here. So that's why I was looking at shares on leveraged shares right here on HIMZ. All right. Does that help answer the question a little bit? Why shares? Why HIMZ gets me leverage with no time decay?
I like it.
And how you get into it? You can sell puts. Like that's a great way to make some money and get a better price. So that's, you know, Jack and I love income. So
Bob says, let me take out my abacus first.
yeah, you can come in here and, you know, look at how juicy these are. Like a 20 strike going for 410 for November. And just out to
It's out there right now.
out 2 weeks, you can still get $1.35 at the 20 strike. Craziness. This is almost as juicy as the TSLL right here, Jack.
There's a lot of great trades out there that don't even involve buying a stock, right? It's playing the option. That's where it's at.
Yeah, the IV priced in here is ridiculous. Look at that. The 20 has 166% IV priced in. Wild. Wild right there. All right, everybody. So I trade this technical pattern that I just showed you on HIMS on small time frames too. We talked about this yesterday. And if you weren't here, let me show you some statistics on this really quick. Jump down to the 1 minute time frame. These are day trades. Get that little thing out of the way. 81% of the time this works out. Right there. Just in the last, since July. So we're talking about August, September, and slightly into October. Two months and change. 64 trades. 81% of the time you won.
That's amazing. You could take that stat to the bank.
I trade this over and over on the daily time frame. I have automated alerts that pick out options for you. In fact, one just fired off right there as an entry while we're talking about it. Right there, the target 668.54 and the stop 666.62 right there. You could play a 0-day option and take advantage of that. And let's go look at the automated system. I didn't plan that to fire off right there. That was just luck, blind luck right there. Let me pull up the alert that just fired off. Show everybody what this thing just said to do. All right, grab this over, and right there's the entry alert. Suggest you play the 668 option. Today's expiration. The share upside 41 cents. Share downside $1.50. Now, if you don't like that risk to reward, don't take this kind of trade. But this has the potential to pay out about a 50% upside within about an hour. These trades typically last, just like the daily chart lasts 45 candles, these last 45 candles. 45 candles on average is 45 minutes.
You're killing me with this. Like I said, everybody needs a little bit of a day trading strategy just to add to their arsenal. And this is probably the best one I've ever seen.
Yeah, and these are always, it picks the option for you. Like you never have to worry about, is it always at the money? Is it always whatever? It tells you which option is the best one to play.
And then it sends you a telegram or an email or a text.
Sends you a telegram or a Discord message. Email and text are too slow for this system. We haven't been able to get those to be fast enough. So we push them out, instant alerts via Telegram or Discord right there. If you want to know more about this, we've got my man in the background is going to play this for us. Dakota is going to play this replay that
indeed
I did yesterday.
I love what you're doing here, Jeffrey. Love it.